recall effort. Mike Netter is a veteran of distribution, sales, and marketing, has served in senior executive roles in Corporate Express and Staples, both multinational office product firms. He's now been using his skills to push this recall effort. The website is recallgavin2020.com. That's recallgavin2020.com. Please welcome back to the program, Mike Netter.
Larry, thanks for having me again. I'm excited.
Mike, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and hopefully the people of California are going to be too. We have now gathered over 2,060,000 signatures. Tomorrow is the day when we're turning the rest of them in. We're actually turning them this week, and we're going to have over 2 million signatures turned in to the various Board of Registers up and down the state of California.
Well, Mike, I can tell you, I watched the governor's press conference. I almost said president. Good Lord. I watched the governor's press conference today, and I can tell you he's scared. He no longer now is talking about if the recall happens. He's now conceding that it is going to happen.
Absolutely, and it was funny, and I've got to admit, even on live radio, Larry, I actually watched The View this morning because Gavin Newsom was on it. And I also find it interesting that he bothers to go on The View and other national shows, but isn't actually addressing the California press or even addressing, California-based shows like yours.
Well, Mike, you know he's in trouble when out comes a race car. During this press conference today, he attributed the recall effort to, wait for it, QAnon, Trump supporters, white nationalists, people who want to microchip undocumented workers. He said that the second biggest contributor was the RNC, as if somehow that's some sort of badge of dishonor. He also said, but for judges that extended the deadline, the recall effort never would have had time to gather the signatures. You can respond, Mike Netter, to any of that or none of it.
Absolutely, I'll respond to all of it. Let me tell you right now, Gavin's response was a joke. He said, the top 10 proponents are all the things that you just named. I'm one of the top 10 proponents, number 3 to sign it, and I can assure you I'm none of those things. And by the way, if he wants to call out the 2 million people in California as being extreme right or extreme anything, Gavin is out of touch, which we already know. You know what I really found most funny, Larry, is that Gavin didn't address anything about him and how he's governing the state. It's all a defensive posture saying, why would you want to recall me? Look at the extreme people trying to recall me. The response that he put, that he's simply repeating, which was in the petition, is an old, dated response because Gavin doesn't care about the people of California. He's backed into a corner. He's shocked this is happening because who would believe that the people of California would have a voice? And his defense seems to be, look, why would you do this to me? Nothing about the people, or did you notice? Nothing about how he plans on solving any of the issues.
Mike Netter is my guest. The website, recallgavin2020.com, recallgavin2020.com. Mike, give me the top reasons why, in your opinion, Gavin Newsom should be recalled.
I think the top reasons are pretty simple, and let me sum it up in 2 things. Mm-hmm. He's a poor manager, and he's making very, very poor decisions. And also something else which is coming out. Gavin is bordering, and I'm not going to say is corrupt, but he's sure bordering on corrupt. People forget that the Friday night at the French Laundry when he went out was with a very big lobbyist who's also associated with the no bid contracts that he awarded to Blue Shield for vaccine distribution. People, even if they want vaccine, can't get vaccine. And how come it's very interesting, he did his State of the State address from Dodger Stadium talking about opening Major League Baseball, but he doesn't even have our schools open yet. What's important to Gavin Newsom besides his political career? That's been evident since day one. Every problem in the state has gotten worse. And I throw back to you, Larry, and to your audience, what problem has Gavin actually solved since he's been governor, even before COVID? Everything in California has gotten worse since Gavin Newsom has been governor.
Mike Netter is my guest. RecallGavin2020.com. Mike, as you know, not a single Republican elected statewide here in California. The Democrats have supermajorities in the Senate and the Assembly. Does this recall effort suggest to you, Mike Netter, that Californians are beginning to rethink, tax, spend, regulate?
Absolutely. And I think it it opens. Here's the problems I stated before. There are 5 million Republicans. There's 9 million Democrats, but there's 6.5 million people registered no party preference. They're not getting information. I think it's time that all Californians participated in the conversation. And as I stated before, that's really what the recall is all about. One-party rule doesn't work for anything, anywhere, at any time, and it certainly doesn't work for California. No issue is solved. Yes, California is waking up. 2 million people is not an insignificant number, and again, 90% of this has been done by us in the grassroots. This is not backed by a big machine, backed by some mysterious organization. It's people everywhere from all walks of life, all diversity, all religions, all parties, literally. 400,000 Democrats have signed this, give or take. About 500,000 NPPs, give or take, have signed this. The rest may be Republicans, but does this sound like a Republican drive? Californians are waking up, looking around. When a crisis hit, perceived or otherwise, that was called COVID, it simply amplified the curve of how bad the state's being run.
Mike Netter is my guest, recallgavin2020.com. Mike, what I'm hearing is that the concern is unless the Republican side or the non-liberal side focuses on one candidate to replace Gavin Newsom, if the numbers are split between assuming Rick Grinnell got involved and John Cox got involved and others got involved, that we might end up with, dare I say, an even worse person, even more left-wing than Gavin Newsom.
Well, first off, a recall election, that's the beauty of it, isn't entirely understood. That's the typical
45 seconds, Mike.
Got it. It's real simple. This is an open election. What you have is this. Vote yes to recall Gavin Newsom. Contribute to help us keep up the drive at recallgavin2020.com, and then you can vote for another candidate of your choice. Let's get behind the yes vote to remove him.
Again, fear that we may split and a left-wing Democrat gets in. A few seconds, Mike.
Well, I tell you what, if a left-wing Democrat does enter the race, it's going to accelerate the yes votes for Gavin, and I think the people of California are smart enough to make sure they elect a good candidate.
RecallGavin2020.com, RecallGavin2020.com. Mike Netter, as always, thank you so much. We'll check back with you later on.
Look forward to it.
Trending now.